Hello and welcome to the latest Lukozer retro game review video. And as you heard, this one is Chimera, which was released by Firebird in 86, I think. It might have been 85. I'm leaning more towards 86 at the moment. Now, this game features a pretty good soundtrack from Rob Hubbard. This is the main theme. There's a second theme which I can only assume appears when you're entering a name in the high score. I'm having to assume because I've never played the Commodore 64 version of this, but I have played the Spectrum version. So, well, let's get a game underway. So, I do know that when you die in this game, it's the person you're controlling gives off a scream that you could send shivers down the spine of almost anyone. It is quite effective. Now, I will explain what I'm doing at some point, but at the moment we're just going to take a look at what's going on around here. And I'm wondering if that is something I can pick up. Yep, I found a spanner. Well, that's a lot of fucking use. My food is running out. Yeah, well, that's a surprise. That's all it ever fucking does. Right, okay, so we drank that, so we've now replenished our water. Trouble is, we're now in a room with a radiator, and that sends the water levels plummeting really fast. Alright, anyway, well, since I am here now, so the idea of the game is that there's some sort of UFO has arrived in orbit, and you have to go and investigate it. And this is actually on board the thing, which doesn't doesn't look like your average sort of well, I say your average sort of UFO, you know. You must find a bolt. Okay. So yeah, everything that's on there seems to be this strange sort of shape. But, oh, fuck it. Something I picked up that killed me. That happens a hell of a lot in this game. So anyway, yeah, so you're exploring around this bloody UFO, and it's been determined it is a threat to Earth, so you have to place these explosives in specific locations in order to destroy it. Now, you are meant to be a person, and yet well, look at you. Doesn't look like a person to me. And if you look at the front cover of the game, you look even less like one there. For a start, he has, like, you know, a computer monitor, well, the old CRT style monitors, for a head. I don't know many people who look like that. Nevertheless, I guess you have to be organic of some kind, because, yeah, you spend the whole time trying to find water which you have to drink, and food which you have to eat. So yes, I guess there is some sort of organic content to you. Oh fucking hell, I'm back here again. Now, as you can clearly see, this is an isometric 3D game. I'm not the biggest fan of isometric 3D games, but it's not for the reasons of, you know, the actual perspective. It's because whenever, well, certainly initially, it didn't stay this way. When games like Head Over Heels and before that, The Great Escape, when they came along, they didn't do the sort of problem that I have with these types of games now. With this, before this, Firebird released a game called Silu, which did exactly the same thing. Prior to that, you had games like Alien 8 on the Spectrum, and prior to that, I think the Mr. Atomic, or whatever, the Mastertronic game, did something similar, which is that you spent the whole time constantly trying to find like food and water, and basically trying to find anything you can in the area that stops you just dropping dead for what seems to be no fucking reason at all. It appears in all of these isometric. What is it about the isometric, 3D type game that meant they instantly said, you know what will make it great is if, we add the food and water limits, and your character is constantly on the verge of either starving to death or or anything else like that. So, oh fuck it, we're gonna die, so let's die. So actually trying to solve any of the puzzles is a completely secondary task, because you're spending the entire time wandering around looking for, means to stop yourself, starving to death. That's all you do. Right. So we picked up the loaf of bread because we haven't got the spanner, but if I use it now, it's not going to let me. Okay, now let's use it now. There we go. So bread raises the food reserves. Oh, there's another fucking radiator. They're all over the place. And of course radiators send your water level. Look how fast my water level is, plummeting. And now I'm fucked, so let's kill myself. And that long, yeah, that doesn't really get irritating at all, does it? So, what do I think of the game? Graphically, the graphics are quite well done. It does suffer from the usual problem with, I've gone the wrong way, with these games, which is that it moves fairly slow, fairly quickly in some rooms. Then you go into another room which has a lot more in it, and you crawl along. Oh no, I did want that. That's water. Still can't use it in here though. It's telling me my food's running out. It's not even bloody halfway down, for fuck's sake. Right, so there we go. So add the drink. So water's back up to that level. Now I've got a spanner. Let's see if we can actually use this. So when I played the Spectrum version, you can see here where the room is very slow. No, I don't hang around there. When I played the Spectrum version, for one thing, it didn't have that slowdown, or if it at least not as dramatically as it does here. There you go. So food reserves up, but now I want to go back here. And what I want to try and do is make sure that spanner I've got, maybe I can use that to fix this barrier here. There you go. That's electric fence there has gone down. What have we picked up here? I have formed a warhead. Take it to a blue room. How are you? Okay. Now the blue room, that means that I formed one of the explosives. Well, this room looks blue, but clearly that's not the blue room. Oops, I'm getting very close to that radiator, so my water level is dropping again. So anyway, yeah, graphics look okay, but they do slow down. I've now, what the fuck's happened? I think the fucking game has crashed, because now absolutely nothing is working in it. Right, well, I had to reset the game, so my score has disappeared. So anyway, covered graphics. The audio is pretty good. I think I like the music. The speech is well done. The sound effects in the game, like that one, are pretty tepid, but oh well, they're not the worst I've heard. So yeah, it looks okay, sounds good. How's it play? It plays like shit. Like all of the early isometric games like this, I just hate the fact that you spend the whole time, as I say, constantly just trying to find food and water. Why couldn't they just make it, don't lose a life? But no, they had to fit in this other fucking thing where you're constantly, actually I'll tell you what, let's see if we can remove that electric fence. There we go. Right, what's this? Oh, bread, right, there we go. Can't see what the fuck's here. Anyway, yeah, so yeah, they spend the whole time, hang on, I've still got that spanner, haven't I? Yeah, there we go. Spend the whole time just, trying not to starve to death. Oh, for fucking bollocky sake. Okay, well, looks like I didn't get on the high score sheet, because I don't even know if there is a high score sheet on it. The other thing is, I don't like about this game is, why is there the Firebird logo on the, constantly on display? I realise it must have something to actually do with the game, but I don't know what. It just doesn't seem to do anything. It's just constantly got this fucking Firebird logo there all the time. Why does it need to be there, for fuck's sake? I can't think of any reason. Right, so get a shot of that. Right, we'll pick up the food. Right, let's go this way now. What's that? Okay, well, my food level's definitely going up alright. That's another electrified fence. So we're able to get around, but I'm not really doing an awful lot else. All I'm doing is just moving around. That's one of the things that killed me last time, so there's not much point going and checking that out now. So how do I rate it? Well, seem to be spending an awful lot of time not doing very much, just wandering around, trying not to die, and dying. And that's really about all we do. The puzzles, the difficulty with the puzzles varies quite considerably, from extremely simple to ridiculously complicated, and none of them really seem to make a great deal of sense. So I'm not overly enamoured with this game, largely because, well, as I've said several times already, with all of these earlier 3D isometric games, your health was constantly plummeting, and you had to spend all the time constantly trying to build that up rather than actually trying to make any progress in the game itself. So it was fucking annoying. I don't know why early isometric games had to have that feature, but they all did, and it wasn't until Head Over Heels and The Great Escape before that changed. So yeah, I don't rate it very much. I'll give it 4 out of 10 because I think the music in this game is great, but just download the fucking SID file, there you go. And graphically it don't look too bad, I suppose. It's just that looks and music aren't enough to make the game any good. So there you go, Chimera for Commodore 64, 4 out of 10. That brings this video to an end, and we will see you at the next one.